Oh yeah, the NFL drafting rookies. Hell yeah.
Podcast off the rails already.
But there is not a chance in hell Justin Fields is finishing in the top 10.
You know what, Mikey? Shut it.
He wants
Why
it.
not?
You don't want the smoke.
He's Calvin Johnson. He's Calvin
Oh,
Johnson.
good.
Oh
God.
my
Yes,
God.
yes, and yes.
What are we gonna do with you?
It just, it adds a little extra flavor to the podcast.
I think you're disrespecting David Njoku.
Thank God
Yeah.
for Joe Flacco. That's all I can say. I'll help the owners. Don't draft Kadarius Toney.
I have to give the people what they want. I mean, come on. I'm going to milk it. I'm going to milk it for all it's worth.
I'll give you something to milk.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll indeed. What we got? 5 days before the draft. Unbelievable, excited, ready to go. MHA podcast. Eric Lansing, Mikey Renaud, Todd Diamond. Can you feel it in the air? The electricity. We're going to be drafting in 5 days, gentlemen. How we doing?
Ready to draft now. I'm ready to go.
Todd's ready to go. What about you, Miguel?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I was just laughing at the intro because, I have that drop in there about not drafting Kadarius Toney, and he got cut today. So maybe
Someone said that to me. So, one of my students said, "Oh, guess who got cut today, Eric?" I was like, "Who?" He goes, "Kadarius Toney." I was like, "That's not news. He stinks." Now, did I believe that a year ago? No, but now we're 365 days from that, and that's not really news. But yeah, he's gone. Bye-bye, Kadarius Toney. Good to see you go. So what are we going to do on today's show with the draft looming just 5 days away? Well, we got a lot of news to catch you up on. There's so much happening right now. Hopefully I can get through all of it. I've also created 35 rapid-fire draft preview questions that all of us will answer here today. And so more information for those who pay attention to these podcasts and want to know what our thoughts are on things. You're going to be able to get 35 quick questions. And we're going to do a 2-round mock draft. Of course, Todd loves his mock drafts. And I've kind of set it up where we'll be in our normal spots and you'll get to kind of see how we feel about things with just 5 days until the draft. You guys ready to roll for today?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's get into some news then.
I don't understand what the news is. It's just like, hey, here's a bunch of you can't fix that happened that was horrible.
Well, the top news, of course, is CeeDee Lamb, who got paid. Finally got paid. And anybody drafting in the early stages of the draft will have to worry about it. I did a mock draft on Sunday night, put myself in the 6th spot, and somehow CeeDee Lamb fell to me in the 6th spot. And I'm assuming it had to do with his contract situation. Now we don't have to worry about that. He's paid. He should be ready to go. Awesome stuff. As a draft, if someone who's drafting 6th or anybody that's drafting before me, I'm sure we're concerned. Jamar Chase, right? Someone else also kind of holding out for a new contract. Well, guess what? He's been playing the last couple of days, or practicing, I should say, in the last couple of days. And it was reported today that he will be playing in game 1. So it's a game 1. So hopefully it means he'll play in game 2 and 3 and 4 and all that type of stuff. But the news says he'll be playing in week 1. So I'm assuming he's going to be good to go. So another top-rated wide receiver that we don't have to be concerned about heading into that first week. So I think the lesson here, Miguel, is just pay him. Why go through this cat and pony? What is it? The
Cat and mouse.
No, the Something Pony show. I forget the
song and pony. Dance and pony. Pony and.
See, Todd doesn't know what it is either. The
Dance
point
and pony
is,
shit?
why go through?
These teams, they try and make it difficult, but at the end of the day, what was Dallas really going to do? It's not like they have, any receivers behind CeeDee Lamb that are, worth a damn. So, I mean, he knew. He obviously knew he had so much leverage.
Yeah, and it's a dog and pony show, by the way.
There we go, dog and pony show.
But I think it was weird just for Jamar Chase because he still has 2 years left on his contract. I get why someone that has 1 year left, but 2 years? Well, that's why he's back to practicing and going to be playing in week 1. More news, a lot more news to get through. Tyler Lockett dealing with a leg issue. I saw this late last week. Have not seen any updates. It doesn't say he's not practicing. It doesn't say he is practicing. Something to keep an eye on as we head to the draft. How about a big trade? I don't know if it's a big trade, but it's a trade. Jahan Dotson, a former first-round pick. He was traded from the Commanders to the Eagles this past week. This solidifies the third wide receiver position for the Eagles. The Eagles got Dotson and a 5th-round pick. Commanders get a 3rd-round pick and 2 7s. Is this interesting at all for fantasy? Jahan Dotson, number 3?
I mean, I don't think so. What does that make him, like the fifth target on that team behind Brown, Barkley, Smith, Goddard? Like, where does he even fit in that? I mean, it's.
Let me ask you this: does it, for those, because we saw Jalen Hurts not have a great season last year, does this make you feel better about drafting Jalen Hurts this year with another? I mean, Jahan Dotson's not a bad wide receiver. Maybe he just had bad quarterback play around him. That's arguable. But do we feel better about Jalen Hurts?
I don't think
or the same.
I don't. At least for me, it didn't really move the needle.
Okay. Well, just news. More wide receiver news. Cardinals wide receiver Zay Jones. I don't know if he was super fantasy worthy, but suspended 5 games without pay for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. We mentioned Jamar Chase. A couple of folks starting on the PUP list. Of course, Nick Chubb. That's not a surprise. Jonathan Brooks. Of course, Todd was talking about him last week. Tyler Higbee, TJ Hawkinson, and Kendrick Bourne. So some guys that will miss at least 4 games of the regular season. Could be beyond that, but PUP is at least 4 games. Patriots QB Patriots quarterback Jacoby Brissett dealing with a right shoulder injury, and yes, that's his throwing shoulder. I haven't seen a timetable for his return, but that it could open the door wide for a 1st-round pick at Drake May. So keep an eye on that if you're interested in May or anything that has to do with the Patriots offense. Jets wide receiver Mike Williams, brand new to the team this year, taking reps at practice. It still seems he's kind of far off from actually getting into an NFL game. And then Packers traded for a quarterback, Malik Willis. Now, with Green Bay, he was traded from the Titans and will be the backup to Jordan Love. So anybody that ends up being a Jordan Love, that a lot of people handcuff quarterbacks, but he will be the backup to Jordan Love. And some breaking news. This is something Mikey actually broke with me today. Rams head coach Sean McVay said that Kyren Williams, potential 1st-round or early 2nd-round pick, will be the team's punt returner. Come on now, that's not real, right? You're going to put in one of your best players at punt return? That's silly, Todd? Is that silly?
No, I mean it's. I guess it's high. I mean it's high risk, high reward because, yeah. I mean if he's rushing for touchdowns and catching touchdowns, and then he can return some or get some return yards. It's that's high reward, but it's also high risk too because he could get injured on on a punt return and you're screwed. So I don't know what that thinking is. I mean, for first I was like, no way. That can't be real. Why would you put him as your punt returner? But
and here's what's funny about that is I listened to the interview when they were talking with Sean McVay about it, and he's like, well, I'm not really concerned about that because if that were to happen, I'm confident in Blake Corum and Ronnie Rivers to run the ball. So.
Oh Lord, why would you
take that for what you will?
Take that something. That's something.
All right. Well, there you go. If anybody had any reservations about drafting Kyren Williams, maybe this hurts that or just adds to that fuel. Okay. So that was the news. Anything else I missed, or should we go on to right?
Yeah, PUP. You were talking about. What about Odell Beckham?
Yeah, or
he's not fantasy worthy. Moving on.
Or Tim Patrick signed with the Lions. I don't know if that's something.
Are you really excited about Jameson Williams because he's going to be playing behind him, and who else is over behind him? No, stop it, Todd.
I know.
I know you like the guy, but
I know.
I don't think it makes that. I don't think that moves the needle, as Mikey would say, in terms of fantasy.
Yeah, kind of sucks that he. Kind of sucks that they let him.
Am I wrong, Miguel? Should we be excited about Tim Patrick with the Lions? Prove me out. Tell me. I'd love to hear it because I don't see it. But
Well, let's
I
hear it,
don't know.
Mikey.
He's at least. I will say this. I don't think he should be drafted. So I guess it's irrelevant for this podcast.
All that for that.
Okay.
Do you have to? Is Tim Patrick on one of your cards, or is he someone you have to write in?
He would be a write-in.
Yeah. See, there you go. Anybody that drafts someone that needs a write-in needs some help, right, Todd?
Sure, why not? You know,
Troy Franklin is he's on there, right?
No, he's a write-in.
Oh, what?
And I will be writing him in. So.
So right now, I don't know if it has. I'm looking at the Detroit Lions depth chart. Now, I don't see Patrick on this list. I see Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Khalif Raymond, Isaiah Williams, Traquan Smith on the IR, Antoine Green on the IR. So they definitely need some depth at wide receiver, thus the move. So, but yeah, I don't think he's going to make too much of some noise this season. Let's get in. Anything else? Did I miss anything else today? I was busy at work, so I may not have seen everything, but looks like Elijah. Oh, wait a minute. Breaking news.
Oh, Elijah.
Do I see here Elijah Mitchell on the IR out for the season?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. I think he was number 2, right?
Yeah.
And we know that McCaffrey in the past has dealt with some issues. So Jordan Mason is, according to the depth chart of San Francisco on ESPN.com, is the second. Well, it still says Elijah Mitchell, but behind him is Jordan Mason. So, wow. Yeah. Deebo Samuel might get some more rushing opportunities this season.
He might. The other thing I was going to mention that I don't think you did was that the Cowboys are talking to Dalvin Cook right now about possibly signing there.
Interesting. That would shake it up a little bit. I know Mikey was kind of praising Dowdle a little bit, but they could definitely use somebody.
I was touting Zeke.
That's right. You were on the Zeke side of things. That is correct. I think it was a podcast I was listening to that was on the Dowdle train. But wow. All right. Well, then keep an eye on that. That'd be interesting. I mean, how fun would that be if that happened during the draft? Dalvin Cook. So you might have to write in Dalvin Cook, Miguel. You might be ready.
No, I'm sure he's on there. I'm sure of it.
You think so?
I think so.
Did he even play last year?
With the Jets, he was terrible.
I want you to check right now. I bet you he's not on there.
I'm pretty confident that he is. I mean, he's still a big name.
He's not even on a team.
Even though he's not that good, he's still a big name.
But he's not on a team.
Yeah.
So when that thing was built, is he?
Yeah, it says free agent.
Wow. All right. That's crazy. But they were ready. Good for them. They were ready. They were following Twitter and social media. So I saw some footage of him like throwing a medicine ball against the wall, and he does look jacked, but that doesn't mean you're good. It just means you've been working out a lot. Not a lot of reps. Okay. One thing we're going to talk about, we'll see how far we get through this, but we decided like, hey, let's talk about guys that we've moved up and guys that we've moved down, since preseason happens and injuries happened. I'll start with Todd. Do you have someone that you've moved up quite a bit or moved down in your rankings based on the information we've seen? Obviously, we had our quarterback previews, our wide receiver previews, and running back previews, blah, blah, blah. And maybe something has changed for you. So anything that you can tell us or share with us?
I moved Malik Neighbors up.
Up? You moved him up?
Yeah.
You moved him up after watching Daniel Jones in action.
Well, I mean, Malik Neighbors he had some good catches or whatever, so I just moved him up 3 spots.
Where is he at, if you don't mind us asking?
Oh, sure. So I had him at 19, so I moved him up. I moved him up to number 16.
Wow.
Yep.
Mike, is that nuts? I mean, you're more of a Malik Neighbors guy than I am too, so maybe you have him in your top 17?
Given that, like, I wonder if that would mean that what would be like a 4th round pick.
No, I'm looking at the wrong. Oh, well, no, I'm looking at the right thing. I mean, That's more third round, I think.
Well, I'm just saying Todd's
Yeah, that's more
situation,
like
'cause
third round.
Todd has back-to-back picks, so I mean, it's like, you know.
Malik Neighbors. All right, Todd. I'm Malik Neighbors. He is on the train fully. Mikey, what about you? Anybody that you moved up or down?
So moved up. Todd's gonna like this one. I moved up Alvin Kamara.
Oh boy, you guys
Hey,
love you some Kamara. Love him.
Well, I mean, just looking at what the Saints are doing differently in preseason is like they've truly invested into the Shanahan offense. You know, with Clint Kubiak there as the offensive coordinator, they ran the least amount of 11 personnel, so it tells you what they're trying to do is they are trying to run the ball, and Kamara is their version of Christian McCaffrey. And I realize that their offense doesn't have the same sort of weapons that the 49ers do, but the effort's going to be made to get him the ball.
Alvin Kamara. I'm yeah. Okay, I like. Sure. Yeah.
Let me ask. Okay, just playing.
What? Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to ask this question.
Please. I need to be turned because I am
Okay.
nowhere near on the Alvin Kamara train, and even in the fourth round, maybe.
So I'll use somebody that I know you like. That's
Okay.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
Pacheco. Most evaluations have Pacheco going ahead of Kamara
Yeah. By a landslide.
by a landslide.
By like 2 rounds.
But yeah. However, who do you feel like has a better chance, like if everything went well, of having the type of upside that could give you number one running back in fantasy
Oh, it's not Kamara.
versus Pacheco?
Kamara ain't running over 800 yards this year. His value comes from receptions.
Versus Pacheco? You sure about that?
100%.
Oh.
You're telling, and then you're talking about scoring touchdowns. How many touchdowns do you think Saints going to score this year? They're terrible.
I don't know. Eric.
Pacheco's at least on an offense is going to give him an opportunity to score points. Yes, Kansas City throws a lot in the red zone and inside the 10. But Pacheco was able to be a top 15 guy even with that last year, even when the offense was not that good for Kansas City last year. And at least my thought is they're going to be better this year. I do not. I mean, Mikey, I live off of your every year. You're like, Eric, I want guys on teams that win and on good offenses. Alvin Kamara is not on a good team and not on a good offense. And that's me just following you. That's me I'm going to listen to Mikey on this one. I'm going to try to pick guys off good teams and good offenses. Alvin Kamara had 76 receptions last year and missed some time. So if he can get to 80 catches again, he was still not in the what? I mean, he still wasn't in, he's like 17th or 18th. I don't have that number in front of me, but still wasn't good. It's been so long since he's run for 800 to 1,000 yards. I just don't know if he has that in him.
I think he still does. I think I'm on Todd's side.
All right. Well, good luck with
that. Todd's champ.
Anybody that listens to this podcast right now be like, all right, sorry, Mikey.
Hey, champ's here, Todd, right?
That's right. The champ is here. You know, all I'm saying.
Oh, man.
Rubik's Cube. There it is.
All right. One guy that I moved up, and I think, you know what? I have a couple of them, but one I moved down was George Pickens. You know why? His offense stinks. I think he's super talented. I just don't think they're not competent in what they're trying to do over there. They're going to try to run the ball and let the defense try to win them games. They're not going to let Justin Fields. They're not going to let Russell Wilson ball out, throw out. Let's ride. They're not doing that shit over there. I like George Pickens, but not enough to where the current ADP, his average draft position, is going. There's other guys I think have better upside, better opportunity for more catches, more touchdowns. They're not going to score a lot of touchdowns with Pittsburgh. So sorry, George Pickens. Someone I liked at the beginning when I started this process. Like, oh, I liked what I've seen. He kind of passed the eye test. I don't like it. Todd, do you have someone else?
No, that was pretty much most of my one that I.
Good job on the homework.
Yep, no problem.
Mikey, did you have someone else?
Yeah, I'll give you the guy that I moved down. That's Amari Cooper. I'm
Yeah.
just,
What's that
you
about?
know, a lot of it had to do with when you look at how he did last year. He finished in the top 20, I believe, in
Yeah.
total points, but I mean, so much of it had to do with the one crazy game that he had against Houston late in the year, being from his point total. I am not a fan of Deshaun Watson. His saving grace, I'll say this, is would be if Watson sucks or gets hurt, and then Jameis Winston comes in. Then I have more interest, but draft will be over by that point, so I don't think I'll be drafting him.
Didn't we have? I mean, he finished 26 last year. 72 receptions, 1,250 yards, 5 touchdowns. Yeah, I think it just depends on where people value him. Like, I feel like he can succeed even with the crappy quarterback. He's done that the last couple of years. Last year was, I mean, he finished 10th in 2023. Um, yeah, it's tough. I don't think Judy's going to come in and take that much targets away from him. And Njoku's still in the mix. Elijah Moore, can Deshaun Watson finally figure it all out? I still think he's talented enough to bring in decent stats, but yeah, it's just a matter of where you want to put where you value him. And I think people see, because I mean, in his career, he's done really well in terms of scoring touchdowns. He's not the biggest receptions guy, but he's put up some big touchdown totals. The last year went down, so
He
yeah,
always does well
I don't hate
against
that.
me. That's guaranteed.
He's always done well. What?
Against me.
Oh, against you. So if you want to beat Mikey this year, draft him and make sure you're on the schedule twice against Mikey. You can check out that schedule, right, Mikey? You can go to the website and check out your schedule for this year.
Yeah, it's
There
all
you go.
ready.
So do I play you twice?
No, but you do play me week 1.
Oh, okay. So Mari Cooper week 1, not with Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't mind if Cooper was on my team. A guy that I moved up, and I kind of told you guys this at the time. I said if Kirk Cousins is playing in week 1, I'm moving him way up. I think I had him at like 14 or 15. Now I have him inside the top 10. He's a guy that was the number 1 quarterback before he got hurt last year. He's got weapons. He's got a great offensive coordinator. He seems like he's ready to go. He is a completions guy. And so I want it. We'll see. I haven't decided what I'm doing on quarterbacks quite yet, but I wouldn't be mad if Kirk Cousins was my number 1 quarterback. All right. You guys want to go to this 35 quick question quiz? I guess that's what it is.
Yes, sir.
So
Let's do
I'm
it.
going to ask you guys a question, and it's a bunch of random questions. And we're not going to spend super long time on these answers. I kind of want these to be quick. If you say something like a sentence, fine, but let's just make it quick. Okay? Let me get the music going here. All right. Here we go. Question number 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you for the draft? Todd, we'll go with you first.
I'm about a 6.
All right. Mike, how about you?
Doesn't sound good, Todd. I'm a little worried. I'm at a 9.
I'm also at a 9. I probably never do enough homework on kickers and defenses. But yeah, I feel really good about this draft going in. All right. Mikey, what's your favorite food you like to eat at the draft?
Favorite food? I like to snack, so I'm more like of a chip guy.
Any particular type of chip?
No, I just need to have to be doing something to get my brain rolling. So I need to be able to, something crunchy is always good.
Todd, you always bring wings to the table. Is that your favorite food to eat at a draft?
Absolutely, with honey mustard, delicious.
Delicious. I'm a pizza guy. I love pizza. I had pizza for dinner tonight. Cosmos Pizza, by the way, because there was a function on campus. So I can't wait for more of Cosmos Pizza on Sunday. All right, guys. Do you guys hide your rankings during the draft, or is it a free-for-all and you don't really care? Mikey?
You said hide my rankings?
Yeah, so like you're up, you're going to go grab something to drink. Do you flip them over? Do you hide them underneath the notebook, or do you just let them for anybody to peek at?
Oh, yeah, I don't care if people look at them. It's my goal. That's why I do this podcast, is to make people smarter.
Hey, I love that. That's very nice. It's very cordial of you. Todd, what about you? Are you hiding your rankings?
Yes and no. I think maybe the first few rounds, if I need to get up or something, I'll I'll hide my rankings. But after maybe like the 8th round, it's whatever.
It's whatever. I think I hide mine. I think I flip the page or turn it upside down, especially if I'm always doing the stickers. Mikey always sits next to me, so I have to hide it from him. All right, guys, here's a question. I don't know if it's a tough question, but are you someone who starts the runs, like a tight end run? Do you follow the runs or do you ignore the runs? So do you start them? Do you follow them or do you ignore them? Todd?
I follow them.
Todd follows the runs. Mikey?
I
I feel like this
would,
is an ignore from you.
it usually is, but I'm not opposed to starting them.
I'm going to say follow. I see how the board goes. I have my thoughts on how I want to do things, but if shit's going down with quarterbacks, then maybe I jump on board. So I'm definitely a follow the run type of guy. All right, we're at question number 5. Are you someone who likes to draft rookies, Mikey? Are you looking for them? Are you targeting them?
No, I mean, usually if it's late and if it's value, then yes, but I'm more of a, I like to have guys that I have backup knowledge on ahead of time.
You like proving commodities is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Todd, rookies? I bet you're a rookie guy.
Absolutely. Come on now. College football is king. Let's go.
I'm not a rookies guy. I'm on the Mikey train. I want to see that they've done it before. But again, like I drafted Jordan Addison, and it worked out well for me. But usually no. Todd, should owners wait on drafting a quarterback, or should they draft him early?
You should wait on a quarterback.
Okay, Mikey, what do you feel?
I agree. You can wait.
I agree. Oh, clean sweep. Love it. All right, next question. Should a quarterback go in the first round this year, Miguel?
I mean, whatever floats your boat.
No, that's not what I'm asking. Based on points that a quarterback can get you, based on value, should a quarterback go in the first round?
Probably not.
Todd?
No.
I agree. No, quarterback should not go in the first round this year. All right, Todd, which quarterback leads the position in rushing at the end of the year? Which quarterback leads the position in rushing yards?
I'll say Lamar Jackson.
Mikey?
I'm going to say Jaden Daniels.
And I'm going to say Anthony Richardson. So let me start the music back up again. We're all different. Maybe that's a board bet. Where am I? I just lost my... Okay, which quarterback leads the position in touchdown passes, Miguel?
I'll go with Mahomes.
I will say Mahomes. Todd?
I'll go different with my guy, Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. He loves him some Jordan Love. All right. Question number 10. We're on 10. Will C.J. Stroud be a top 5 quarterback this season, Todd?
Yes.
Mikey?
I'll say no.
I will also say no. Will Trevor Lawrence take that next step in his NFL career to be a top flight quarterback? Mikey?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
I say no. Will Caleb Williams finish as a top 12 quarterback? Todd?
Yes.
Mikey?
No.
I also say no. Should owners draft a wide receiver or a running back in the first round? Mikey?
I'll say wide receiver.
Todd?
Running back.
I also say wide receiver. Should owners check that? Does Ayuk get traded or does he stay with the 49ers? As you heard, that was not in the news today. Maybe it happens by the time you hear this podcast, but as of this moment, no decision has been made. So Todd, does Ayuk get traded or does he stay with the 49ers?
Stays with the 49ers.
Mikey?
I agree. He stays put.
I agree as well. All right, should you guys draft Puka Nacua in the first 12 picks or Cooper Kupp in the first 24? Mikey?
Ooh, that's a toughie. Shoot. I wanted to say neither, but I'll go with Cooper Kupp.
Todd?
I'll say Nakua.
I say Cooper Kupp. Will Marvin Harrison Jr. finish as a top 12 wide receiver? Todd?
Absolutely.
Mikey?
I'll say yes.
I say no, but you guys knew that. Which Bears wide receiver should owners draft? Mikey?
Oh, my heart says Keenan Allen.
I know it does. But so that's your answer?
That's my
I was waiting
answer.
for the but that's your answer?
That's my answer.
Todd?
DJ Moore.
I also say DJ Moore. I thought Mikey was back on the DJ Moore train. Anyway,
I am, but I got to be thinking about value here.
understood. Which Texans wide receiver should owners draft? Todd,
Stephon Diggs.
Mikey.
I'm going to say Nico Collins.
I'm also going to say Nico Collins. Which Packers wide receiver will finish with the most fantasy points? Mikey.
I'm gonna jump on the Todd boat and say Jaden Reed.
Todd, do you feel the same, Jaden Reed?
Absolutely.
I'm going to go with the heart pick. If Mikey got a heart pick, I'm going to say Christian Watson. Which Bills wide receiver or tight end do you want on your team? Todd, we'll go with Todd first.
I'll go Coleman.
Mikey?
Oh, Dalton Kincaid, no question.
I'm with you on the Kincaid train. Is the running back position deep this year, Mikey?
Kind of. I'll say yes, in a way.
I love it. Very vague, but we'll take it. Todd, what do you think? Running back deep this year?
No.
I also agree. Doing some drafts, I'm a little nervous. Outside of CMC, give me a running back that can finish number one. Todd?
I'll say Bijan Robinson.
Bijan? Okay. Mikey? And if you say Alvin Kamara, I'm going to punch you in the gut.
I was going to say Alvin Kamara.
Oh, come on, man. You got to start the music again. Alvin Kamara's number one. Really? That's what you're going with?
I'm going with it.
All right. I can respect that. Jonathan Taylor for me. Joe Mixon or Josh Jacobs? Mikey?
Mixon.
Todd?
I'll say Jacobs.
I'm going to say Jacobs too. That's a tough one, though. That's why I put it up there. Here's the next question. Will Alvin Kamara finish as the top 15 running back? Todd?
Yes.
Mikey?
I'm going to pull Todd's thing out of the bag. Yes, yes, and yes.
No. All right, next question. Tony Pollard or Tajay Spears? Mikey?
Pollard.
Todd?
Spears.
I'm going Pollard. Pay up for a top tight end or wait? Todd?
Wait.
Mikey?
Wait.
I also say wait. Mikey, would you take Travis Kelce to finish number one or the field?
Yeah, I'll take Kelsey.
Todd?
Give me the field.
I'm also going to say the field. Back to another Mikey question here. Is David Njoku a top 10 tight end? Mikey, we'll let you go first.
I just want to be. I just want to be an ass. So I'm going to say no.
Todd?
No, he's not.
Wow, that's your boy.
I understand, but he ain't
stop the podcast. What? Unbelievable. I say yes. Which rookie from any position would you like to have on your team? Todd, you like rookies?
I'm gonna say Bo Nix. I'm gonna say Bo Nix.
Oh,
there it is. Yep.
What? Bo Nix?
Right.
So is he gonna be your backup quarterback?
It's definitely in my thought process.
Someone is Twitter pated. Mikey, which rookie from any position would you like to have in your team?
I guess I don't get it because he hyped up Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors.
Those are acceptable answers.
So I'll go with Marvin Harrison.
I'm going to say Blake Corum, especially after all that punt return news. When we're getting down to the final 6 questions here. When should owners draft a kicker? Mikey?
Last round.
Todd?
Yeah, last round.
Last round as well. When should owners draft a defense? Todd?
I'll say I'd say round 13.
Mikey?
It does most of the time for me. It's always second to last round, but if you want to go 2 rounds earlier than that, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I feel like second to last. I thought I was awesome because I picked one early and it didn't pan out for me. I know the Cowboys one worked for Mikey, but yeah, I would say second to last round. All right, Mikey, who is your all-time favorite fantasy football player? Now, it could be someone that was on your team, someone that you just like watching, but who is your favorite all-time fantasy football player?
I think for me, it's probably, God, that's close, but Brian Westbrook I always loved having. I know Eric can't say the same because he cost him in a big time way.
He
But
sure did.
yeah, I mean, I just receiving backs and yeah, he was the first one that comes to mind for me.
Todd?
I'll go with because obviously he was on my team when I won my first championship. But Peyton Hillis, baby, let's go.
Peyton Hillis is your all-time fantasy football player. He had one good fantasy season, and he's your all-time favorite player.
Won me a championship. What can I say?
It's a good reason.
I guess. I said
I
Drew
could've said
Brees.
Peyton
Drew
Manning.
Brees helped me win a championship too, but he was also amazing throughout his career. All right, last 3 questions. Mikey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love playing fantasy football? 1 being not very much, 10 being awesome or love it.
I'll go 9 just because I do love it so much. But there's like those times where like you lose games where you don't think that you should. That it's just terrible.
This is coming from the guy that has led the league in points the last 2 years, but has 0 championships.
Yeah, I have high standards, man.
Todd, 1 to 10.
It's a 20-30 for me. I mean, it's way over. Fantasy football is awesome. It makes you hate and love life at the same time. It's it's great. It's there. I broke the scale. Sorry,
Broke the scale.
it's broken.
I'm gonna say 7. I love it a lot, but there are times where it just pisses me off, and that's because of this next question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of fantasy football is luck? Todd, 1 to 10. 1 being no luck. No. There's no luck involved. It's all skill, and 10, it's very lucky.
Oh, it's 10. It's 10.
It's all about
now
luck, no skill.
Well, let me rephrase that. I'd say it's probably a good solid 7. I'll say a good solid 7.
I like how Todd's downplaying his fantasy ability last year. Mikey, what do you think?
I'll say 3. 3 is luck because, I mean, you have to be lucky to have your team stay healthy. I mean, if you're just picking up players and hoping to get lucky, I think that's a dumb strategy.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 because I think there's moments where, we put all this time and effort and try to put ourselves in the best position. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people get hurt. You can't control that. Weather, whatever the case. So, mixed bag for me. All right, last question, gentlemen. Who will be the fantasy MVP in 2024? Todd?
Will be. I'll say Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Mikey?
I mean, you kind of forced me into an answer that I can't change. I almost have to say it's Alvin Kamara.
I guess this is true. Alvin Kamara is going to be the fantasy MVP. Now, this one I had to think about a lot because, is it someone I like? Is it someone that's going to surprise you? Is it someone that's not on the radar? Is it going to be someone like Patrick Mahomes that more than likely? I mean, who was the fantasy MVP last year? It's probably Christian McCaffrey, right? So is it more that type of guy as opposed to a quarterback? I think, and is it the real MVP? Is it our fantasy MVP? Again, is it someone that's just going to come out of nowhere? So I thought about this quite a bit. I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but who's going to come out of nowhere, but also kind of be already in that mix, in that conversation? So I went, I don't know if this is crazy or wild or out of left field, but it kind of goes back to like what Mikey was saying, but Jonathan Taylor could be the fantasy MVP. If he gets back to what he was 2 years ago, if CMC gets hurt, if there's any issues with those top running backs already up top, he's a guy that's not supposed to be up top. Like, he's obviously still rated pretty high as a running back. But, even with the Anthony Richardson stuff, that offense is going to be a lot better. The offensive line is great. Jonathan Taylor. Let's try something different. Try something new, as Todd likes to say.
There you go. Something new.
All right, so that was fun. Let's go to the 2-round mock draft. We're at 40 minutes, so we still have some time, but we're not going to have a lot of time to explain ourselves through everything if you want to get through this in under an hour. So mock round, we got 2 rounds going on here. It kind of goes Mikey, Todd, Eric. Mikey, Todd, Eric, because I'm 6th, Mikey's 7th, Todd is 12th and 13th. So it goes Mikey, Todd, Eric, Mikey, Todd, Eric, Mikey, Todd, Eric, Mikey, Eric, Todd, and then we go into the second round, and it kind of goes through the same way the first round went. Okay, you ready for this? Mikey, you have the first pick. You can pick whoever you want. Is it CMC or is it someone different off the board?
Yeah, it'll be CMC.
Pretty straightforward. I feel like, sometimes I see CeeDee Lamb go first in mock drafts, and obviously this isn't our type of league, but it's usually CMC. I've seen CeeDee Lamb also. Todd, you have the second pick. CMC off the board. Who are you picking?
CeeDee Lamb, easy.
Was it easy before when we didn't know his contract situation? Would you have picked someone else in that situation?
I think I still would have picked CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
Because I think CeeDee Lamb is just that good, and Dak Prescott is he's playing for a contract, whether it's with the Cowboys or somebody else, so he's gonna throw the living crap out of the ball, and they're gonna go all to CeeDee Lamb. So CeeDee Lamb for me.
I'm gonna stay with the wide receivers. Tyreek Hill had more yards than CeeDee Lamb than last year. Nothing really changes in his situation. Tyreek Hill is amazing. To you, Mikey, at number 4.
I'm gonna go with Brees Hall.
You like Brees Hall over Bijan?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Brees Hall.
You think that? I was going to say Raiders. I don't know where that came from. Jets offense is going to be better with Aaron Rodgers. And we've talked about this before. Maybe we're just reiterating here, but I liked Bijan better than Brees, but that was just because I feel like a little more confident in the Falcons offense than the Jets offense. But they're both incredible players, right?
Yeah, they're both incredible players, and I think I told you in last week's podcast, watch out for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you're pretty high on him. And Alvin Kamara too, apparently. Todd, to you at the 5th pick, CMC, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Brees Hall.
We're gonna go with Jamar Chase. Shake it up a little bit here. He's ready. He's ready to go, and he's.
Is that shaking it up? He's top flight wide receiver.
Yeah, but probably thinking Robinson here, but I think Chase. He's gonna ball out because he wants a contract. So let's go. Go.
All right, so he's going Chase. I'm going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown. If Jared Goff's an MVP type candidate, he's going to be reaping all the benefits. And I said in the previous rapid questions what you should draft in the first round. I said wide receiver, so I better stick with that. To you, Mikey, at number 7.
All right. And see, I made the right move. So now I get Bijan Robinson.
Bijan from Atlanta. I was telling Mikey what I spent some time last weekend, since usually you're spending the week like getting your rankings together. We're done with rankings outside of moving up and down. So I was like, let me go look at some footage, because I was torn, and I might have that situation where do I draft Brees Hall or Bijan Robinson if all the wide receivers are taken, and I want to go running back. Which one's better? And they're both amazing in their own right, but one thing I saw from Bijan is he's got some amazing can't miss or like miss me stuff. He's got that juke. He's got that ability. So I like Bijan a lot after watching his tape. Todd, to you. So we've seen CMC, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Brees Hall, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Bijan Robinson, and at number 8, it's your pick.
All right, I'm going to shake it up again, but Travis Kelce.
Patrick Kelce.
Patrick Mahomes' number 1 target, as far as I'm concerned. Pretty easy there.
You've always said that you liked him better than Laporta.
Mm-hmm.
And so you feel confident that Travis Kelce can put first round numbers up.
Probably one of the most consistent just tight ends in the league last few years. It's almost like he's like Antonio Gates. You knew what you were getting with him every single year, regardless whether he finished number 1 or not. You knew what you were getting with him, consistency, and that's what Travis Kelce does. And he's got Patrick Mahomes attached to him, just like Antonio Gates had Drew Brees attached to him. No brainer.
All right, the first tight end off the board. Back to me at pick number 9. I'm going to go with my MVP candidate, I guess, in Jonathan Taylor. So after the We've seen CMC as a running back go off the board, Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson, and the guy that I do have fourth on my list, and Jonathan Taylor. So back to Mikey at number 10. Who do you got, Miguel?
All right, number 10, I am going to go with Saquon Barkley.
So I'm going to ask you this because we talked about this, but no Justin Jefferson yet, huh?
Not yet.
I mean, you've been pretty high on him.
Yes, I have been.
But not yet. He's goes Saquon Barkley. Go ahead. You want to say something?
I know I said I would go receiver first, but as it's turned out, I've gone 3 running backs so far.
You have. Any concerns with Barkley's? There's so many mouths to feed in Philadelphia.
I have no concern. I think the holes are going to open up for him with all those weapons. I think it's a benefit.
Yeah, they did not play great last year, and I don't know if that was a lot of it was due to not being able to run the ball as effectively. I mean, DeAndre Swift was solid, but Saquon's on a different level. Maybe that does open things up for them. Okay, this is going to go back to me because we wanted to make sure Todd had his 12th and 13th pick. So I'm actually going to go with Justin Jefferson at this point. While I'm super concerned that Sam Darnold is his quarterback, he is able to put together solid stats, even with backup quarterbacks throwing him the ball. We talked about Nick Mullins last year. Pretty good value at number 11. I don't know if he can reach the heights of those receivers that we've already seen come off the board, but he's still pretty stellar. All right, Todd, you get back-to-back picks. First, your first one in the 12th round, and is it who you've been talking about since the beginning of this whole podcast this year?
Absolutely, Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, in that Lions offense, I mean, runs, catches, I mean, no brainers. That's why I had him ranked second in my rankings. I mean, he had a great rookie year, and I think again I know David Montgomery is there, but I think this is when Gibbs really takes over and becomes that primary back.
All right, so now we go to round 2. Back to Todd. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs. Who are you pairing him up with?
Alvin Kamara.
Mikey, what have you done? This is your fault, Miguel.
It's my fault.
Yeah, Mr. MVP, Alvin Kamara behind Jahmyr Gibbs. Todd, you want to say anything, or is it just Mikey said MVP, so that's what I'm going with?
Well, I mean, I was high on Kamara at the beginning of all this before Mikey said MVP on the podcast. So, again, one of those versatile backs, runs, catches, gotta love it. So, I'm on that train.
I'm going to ask Mikey this question. I'm not going to ask you, Todd. I'm going to ask Mikey this question. Now, the idea of drafting is value. If Todd waited till his turn again at the end of the 3rd and 4th round, would Kamara still be there? Now, you have him as an MVP candidate, maybe not, but maybe I ask you, would you take Kamara in that 3rd round before Todd had another opportunity?
That's a whole 24 picks before it got to Todd. I think there's a possibility.
Man, I don't know. All right, so he goes Gibbs and Kamara. So it goes back to me. At this point, I had Justin Jefferson. So, you look at the running backs available. We've seen Barkley go off the board. So is it Travis Etienne? Is it Pacheco, a guy I like? I'm probably going to go with A.J. Brown here. That's a pretty awesome 1-2 wide receiver tandem. A.J. Brown. I'm going to have no concerns with Dotson over there at number 3 or Goddard taken away. A.J. Brown had a stellar season last year. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. Back to Mikey in the first round. Who are you pairing Saquon Barkley up with? Is it a wide receiver or maybe another running back?
I'll pair him up with Travis Etienne.
Ooh, all right. So back-to-back running backs for picks number, what we got here, 10 and 15. So Travis Etienne. So then this is back to me. And so with the 16th in the previous round, I had Jonathan Taylor. I think I'm going to go it's between Garrett Wilson and Puka Nacua. I'm not super high on the Aaron Rodgers train. I'm also not super high that Puka Nacua has been dealing with an injury, but he's done it before. And I don't think he needs the reps. This is going to be a high-flying offense. It's going to run a lateral 3 wide receivers. Even with Cooper Kupp in the mix. We saw what he was able to do. So I'm happy to pick Puka Nacua here at this point. To you, Todd, in the previous round, you had Travis Kelce. So who is going to be playing with Travis Kelce on the squad?
I'm going to go Marvin Harrison Jr.
There it is, huh?
Yep, first rookie off the board.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Is that wise? And the only reason why I say that is that Travis Kelce had an off year last year. We're not sure. I mean, you feel comfortable he's going to have another spectacular year, even though he's 35 or 36 years old. Is that risky to pair someone like if you would have paired Marvin Harrison with, say, someone like Saquon Barkley or Amon-Ra St. Brown, someone that you know is going to give you top-notch stats, and then if something happens where Marvin Harrison doesn't pan out as a top-flight wide receiver, you don't feel as bad. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that right?
Yeah. I get it. If Travis Kelce's not the Travis Kelce, in previous years, and he has another kind of down year, but again, I go back to the fact that Travis Kelce is connected to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes will find every way possible to get him the football.
But wasn't Travis Kelce connected to Patrick Mahomes last year? And he didn't have the season. He didn't finish number one tight end last year.
But he was consistent. That's what you want to find. Consistent.
But fine, consistent. But he was consistently average. At least in terms of what we're used to getting from Travis Kelce. We're used to Travis Kelce giving you 100 receptions, 12, 13, 1,400 yards, and 10 to 12 touchdowns. Last year, he was nowhere near those numbers. So in my opinion, that's first-round numbers, where the numbers we saw from last year are not first-round numbers. So all of a sudden, he's better. Now, I'm going to defend you in this, is that I think the Chiefs will be better than last year. I think they had a lot of things go wrong for them. But you are hoping that Travis Kelce puts up that 100 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 8 to 10 touchdowns to be worth getting first-round value out of him. And you feel comfortable? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to Mikey here in the second round. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th pick in the second round. You had Bijan Robinson as your first pick with this team.
Yep, and I think I'm going to go with Derrick Henry on the second one.
Derrick Henry. So running backs. So we have a lot of dual running backs. It's not like, well, I want one wide receiver and one running back. It's been 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs. I think Derrick Henry here is a great pick. I think he's fantastic in that offense. I think he's going to be phenomenal. So now, to me, this is my actual pick. In the previous round, I picked Amon-Ra St. Brown. So guys that are still available, Garrett Wilson has fallen so far. And because I mentioned I'm not big on the Aaron Rodgers train. You have Devontae Adams is still in the mix. Those are probably the 2 top wide receivers. Travis Etienne's off the board. And so Pacheco is probably the next best running back that's on the list. I have to go down a little bit. With the wide receiver, I'm probably going to try to go running back if I can. I would love to have Derrick Henry. Of course, that could be a snipe opportunity on draft day. We'll see how that goes. But Isaiah Pacheco is still available, so I think I'm going to go with Pacheco to roll with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm excited to have that as my starting running back. I think the value is incredibly high for him. He's gotten better every year. This is his 3rd year. Back to Todd here. Todd, in his previous pick, had Jamar Chase. Who are you looking at here in the second round for that team?
I'm going to go with Rashad White.
Ooh, Rashad White. Okay.
They were just talking about before we got on the podcast. One of the centers that the Buccaneers drafted has been really great for the offensive line, and Rashad White has kind of benefited that so far. Has benefited that in the preseason, so I think that'll help him. That line will open up holes for him to maneuver. So that's why I pick White.
Mikey, to you, this is the 21st overall pick, and this is what is that? 9th pick in the second round on this team. You had Breece Hall in the first round. Who are we going with to pair up with Breece Hall?
I'm going with Devon Achane.
Ooh, one of those. And maybe to me is I think this is where he's normally going, so I don't want to be like super excited about like, oh wow, that's crazy. Like he's a guy that has immense upside, and so you can see why. why you would pick him here. If he ends up getting a lot more reps and sees a lot more carries and attempts, he could be incredible. He's a risk, I think, also as well. We kind of talked about in the last podcast. He's one of my bust guys. Second round, back to me. And honestly, a guy that I was, thinking about even in my previous pick with Pacheco is Kyron Williams. I know we just talked about the punt return stuff, but he's a guy I would be happy to have in that spot previously or even now. He's amazing. He's 3-down back. Rams like to use 3-down back. They run an offense that's so fast, so highly fast paced that, minus injuries at punt return, he's going to put up similar numbers as he did last year. All right. So Todd, this is your final pick here. CeeDee Lamb was your second overall pick. Now you have pick number 23. What are we going with?
I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs.
Second round, Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
Over your boy Garrett Wilson. You've always been a Garrett Wilson guy.
Yeah, but Stephon Diggs and this Texans offense is just, it's excellent. Excellent.
Mikey, I'm going to let you pick the next two, since why not? So you had CMC as your first overall pick. Who are you picking on this turn between the second and third rounds?
So I will take Garrett Wilson.
That's great. That's probably amazing value for him at this point of the draft. Who else you like? I'm going to give you that next pick.
And then I will also take Josh Jacobs.
All right, another running back. So CMC, Josh Jacobs, and Garrett Wilson. Other guys kind of still on the board, Drake London, Chris Olave, no quarterbacks. So we were talking about should quarterbacks go in the first round. Neither one of us picked one in the first 2 rounds. So how about that? Jalen Waddle still kind of around this area. Devontae Adams is probably like the biggest name that has not been drafted yet. So yeah, there you go. Anything wild or crazy or something that stands out to you, Mikey, and with this 2-round mock draft?
So it's going to go to show you, and I think this is pretty accurate because every single time that we draft and we do this process, these running backs, and you guys both said that you didn't feel like it was that deep. They're flying.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, you're just getting into the third round, and all of a sudden, the best you have left, you're looking at like James Cook, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, James Conner. You're already into the third round.
Yeah, and I don't hate those guys, but I see what you're saying. I mean, the talent drop-off kind of falls, right? I mean, even looking at Fantasy Pros tiers, the only guys left in tier 3 are James Cook and Joe Mixon and Kenneth Walker. So, yeah, then there's Connor, Aaron Jones, Stevenson. So, yeah, I mean, there's some guys I like in the 4th tier as well, but you get to that 5th tier and it's kind of yucky, depending if you're a Jalen Warren guy or a Singletary guy or a Chase Brown guy. So, yeah, that may push those running backs up. I mean, I was really surprised. I mean, a lot of wide receivers dropped. I mentioned Adams, Olave, London, and a lot more running backs went in those first 2 rounds. So there you have it. Man, we gave a lot of information away to our opponents this week, fellas. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm handing out Rubik's Cube, so, I'm giving out my secret, but,
He's handing out the Rubik's Cubes.
Yep. Just wait. But I still have the master Rubik's Cube, so it's okay. It's okay.
Todd says he feels like a 6. Mikey feels like a 9. I feel like a 9. Ready to roll. Ready to do this. 5 days away. By the time you read this, it'll be 4 days away. I think we have 9 owners coming. G is coming. We have 9 owners coming this weekend, so this is going to be great. This is going to be fun.
I got to bring 9 Butterfingers. All right.
There you go. Butterfingers and Rubik's Cubes.
Yeah.
Our champ. So generous.
Yep.
Kenny, what are you doing? My cat acting a fool. He's excited for fantasy football too. All right, gentlemen, great job today. That was a lot of fun. And then next time, I'll see you guys for sure. We're gonna go to the Orioles game this week. I'm going to every Orioles game this weekend. 2 drafts the next 2 days. It's gonna be a wild week, and I gotta try to do homework in there too. Back in school, Eric Lansing back in school. Crazy stuff. So, for Mikey Renault, Todd Diamond, I'm Eric Lansing. We'll see you at the draft and on the next MHA podcast. See you later.